Hello everyone. Today I'm going to share with you one of my all-time favorite apps. It's one I use all the time and it's called AnyList. And what AnyList does, here I am on the AnyList website, I'm going to go to features, is it allows you to create obviously a variety of lists, but the real power comes in its ability to manage recipes and to do meal planning. So I'm going to walk through a demonstration of how you can find a recipe online, upload it to your AnyList, add that recipe to a meal plan, and then also add the ingredients to your shopping list, all with some very, very simple, easy steps. One thing I will mention is that as I go through my AnyList, I am on the paid for version. If you go over here to compare features and pricing, you can get a full listing that shows you the difference between the free version and the paid for version. And we're not going to go through all of those details here, but just know that you can check it out and you can decide for yourself whether or not you think the paid for version is worth it. I will say from my perspective, I'm on this $14.99 a year plan. It is absolutely worth the price. I have no regrets every year about paying that $14.99 at all. So I do recommend the paid for version. You can see for yourself again what the differences are and then obviously decide for yourself. So now that we have that covered, let's jump into an example. So let's say I was out on the internet looking for recipes and I came across this recipe for chicken empanadas. And this is something that looks really good to me. And I would actually like to make this dish. The first thing I want to do though is I want to get this recipe captured into my AnyList. One of the great features about AnyList is it does have this browser extension. So if I click on my browser extensions, you see I have here this AnyList recipe import. So I'm going to click on that and it will bring up this interface that allows me to import this recipe into my AnyList. One of the things I can do if I want to is assign it to a collection. So you can create as many collections as you want within your recipes. These are just some examples, but let's say I want to add this to my main dishes collection, and that might be it. Maybe this is an air fryer recipe. I don't think it is, but let's just say it is, and I add it to my list of air fryer recipes, and that's probably good enough. I've created my collections associations, and it's now time to save it. At this point, that extension has automatically uploaded this recipe into my AnyList. Now, one thing I want to point out, and this is probably something that you've seen countless times, is that when you find recipes online, you tend to have all of this information that you have to scroll through to get to the point where you actually get down to the part that you want, which is the ingredients list and the instructions. So there's a ton of information typically on these website instructions and things. So just making a note of that before we jump over here to my AnyList. And at this point, I want to find that empanadas recipe that I just imported. So I'm going to click up here to search recipes. And I'm going to type in empanadas. And there you see it pops up right there, chicken empanadas. So I'm going to click on that. And as I mentioned on that website, all that information that you see online, it doesn't show up here. All you get is a nice, concise list of the ingredients that you need. And if I click on full recipe, here it is, all of those steps. So it extracted out all of that other information and gave me just what I need to make this recipe, the ingredients list and the individual steps telling me how to actually make this dish, which is very nice. So not only does it peel all that stuff out, but now I have this captured in my AnyList for reference anytime I want to use it, which is great. So I'm going to click on done. Now that we have a recipe uploaded into our AnyList, the next thing I want to do is add this to my meal plan. So if I go up here and click on this little icon, you see I have the add to meal plan option. And let's say I want to make this tomorrow on Saturday, and we're going to make this for dinner. And I'm going to click on done. So now if I go over here and click on my meal plan, you see that there it is. Tomorrow night's Saturday dinner is chicken empanadas. And so when tomorrow rolls around, I can go to my meal plan, see that I'm making chicken empanadas, and if I click on it, it takes me to the recipe, which is very, very handy. And again, I can click on the full recipe to see the full recipe details. So now when it comes time to make dinner tomorrow, and this is what I do all the time, is I'll pull up my iPad. And my iPad has all my recipes in it, everything that I have in AnyList. I pull it up, and I have the recipe right in front of me while I'm cooking. So one thing to note, too, is that the app that AnyList provides has all of the features that we see here on the web interface. So everything that you're seeing me do here can be done on the app. So that's an important note. So now I have my meal plan, I have my recipe. the last thing I need to do is I need to make sure that I actually have all of these ingredients. So let's say I plan to go to the grocery store today and I want to make sure that I get everything I need for this dinner for tomorrow. So I'm going to run through the ingredients list right here. I don't have onions, so I'm going to click on that. Red bell pepper I need, yellow or orange bell pepper, cilantro I'm going to need the chicken breast for sure. And let's say I need tomato paste, but let's just assume that I have everything else that's on this list, so I don't need to purchase those things. So just by clicking on these little icons here next to each ingredient, it automatically adds it to my grocery list. So here I am at lists, grocery lists, and as you can see, all those individual ingredients that I just clicked on now show up in my grocery list. And not only do they show up in the list, but they also show me what recipe they're associated with. So you see here, for each case, we have chicken empanadas. So it tells me exactly what I need those ingredients for, which is also very handy. So at this point, hopefully you can see just how useful this app is. I mean, it really is amazing that you can go out there, find recipes online, easily add them to your list, add things to your meal plan, as you saw, very, very easily, and then also get the ingredients onto your shopping list. So it ties all of those things together. And like I said, the app can do all of the things that we looked at here today. One other thing that I will point out, I mean, there are a ton of features that we haven't gone over, but it is important to note that you don't have to have recipes and then add the ingredients in from a recipe. I can manually add items here as well. So let's say I know I need milk. I can add milk to the list. And so on and so forth. So you can manually add ingredients here. And then also within your meal plan, you can manually add items to your meal plan just by clicking on either a note to create a note, or you can actually click on the recipe and then search for recipes and add them that way as well. And just like with the meal plan items and the ingredient items, you can manually add recipes too. So you're not reliant upon having to find something online. You can just click on this plus icon here and then click on create recipe, and you can manually enter in anything that you need to. So let's say you have recipes that you have written down that you'd also like to capture in your AnyList. You can certainly do that. So again, a truly amazing app that makes things a lot easier when it comes to shopping, meal planning, recipes. I love the fact that wherever I am, as long as I have my cell phone or my iPad, I have full access to all of my recipes. And then, like I said, when it comes time to cook, I just put my iPad on the counter, find my recipe, and it's everything I need is right in front of me. So hopefully you found this useful. And if you're not already using AnyList, I highly recommend you check it out. Thanks.